when a patient joins a membership program, they actually spend 2 to 3.5 times more with that practice on treatment needed because of the nature of savings and discounts.
This is Growth in Dentistry, a dental intelligence podcast where we ask the question, what does growth in dentistry look like to you? I'm Katie Polson, a dental hygienist and your host. Welcome to another episode of Growth in Dentistry. I'm Katie Polson, and we are excited we have someone inside recording with me. If you're not watching, I have a really, really special guest, Jordon Comstock of BoomCloud. And I just said, hey, you're in Lehigh. You should just come record in the office with me. And he said, yeah.
Yeah, it's a party. I like coming in. I like the in-person stuff way better. I must be old school, but I dig this.
You must be old school.
I'm old school. I swear I am.
Guys. But really, I'm just super excited because this doesn't get to happen very often because the people we talk to so often are just not
around the country.
Yeah.
Well, I would have been. That's surprising because there's so many amazing
a lot
Utah
of
people here, but the industry is obviously
nationwide.
So.
Yep. So before we get into our topic today, I just wanted to just do our little laundry list of things that we're going to talk about before we get started, which is to just invite you to join our Facebook Dental Intelligence podcast community and come join like-minded data nerds. Go rate and review this podcast. I read every single one of them. Thanks to my husband for just kidding. for writing the last review. No, just kidding. He doesn't listen to this podcast. He says so. And then our current customers, if you are a current customer of Dental Intel, this is a new thing that I'm incredibly excited to be able to give this value to you. There's a tool inside of our growth platform now called our DI community. And it's a space where customers can go and ask questions to each other and have, we've got some great topics and some forums you can find answers to your questions about the business of dentistry quickly and how to use data. And we're really excited about that. We spent a lot of time developing it, and I would really recommend if you are a customer to go in and check that out. And then lastly, this podcast is obviously brought to you by Dental Intelligence. And we have a great giveaway for those that are listeners to the show. If you want to go to get.dentalintel.com/podcast, you'll get $50 when you complete a demo. And that information will be on our show notes. Okay, Jordon Comstock, CEO of BoomCloud.
That's it.
We had a fun time a little fun pre-show here talking about our dental families, but give us a little background on who you are and how you ended up in this crazy world of dentistry.
I couldn't avoid that. That's for sure. Basically grew up in dentistry. My grandpa owned a dental lab, which my dad now owns. Now my younger brother owns it. I was there for about 8 years with my twin brother, my twin brother is at BoomCloud with me. So my mom also is an office manager. Actually, before I came up here, I was visiting their office, helping them with some of our new features that at BoomCloud that we're getting ready to release. So I grew up in dentistry. Mom worked from home when I was a kid. I think she was the insurance coordinator, so I heard her yelling at the insurance companies pretty much every day. So I think I may be a little bit traumatized from that growing up. And then 8 years at the dental lab. So when we go to family parties, dentistry is definitely a topic that we
talk about all the time.
We can't avoid it. Yeah,
I know. I feel so bad for the in-laws that marry into my family because they're like, we're doing this again.
My in-laws are in dental too, so it's
are they?
Both sides. In fact, my wife was a dental assistant for some time, and then her sisters are hygienists. Their cousin is a hygienist.
It's so weird that we're in Utah where we are I swear we're in the Mecca of dentistry, but
it feels like it.
but really it is so funny how dentistry is a family thing. So well, tell us a little bit about BoomCloud before we kind of get started into what it does. And
so I started BoomCloud years ago. We're a customer funded company, meaning we don't have investors and all that craziness, right? They can happen. So I started BoomCloud on the side when I was at the dental lab, because a lot of our practices would call us in and vent to us about the problems with insurance. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. and then I realized at the dental lab that those insurance problems would trickle down to the dental lab and kind of affect our own profit margins. And I got really irritated because I'm like, I didn't sign these PPO contracts, but at being at the dental lab, the contracts, would basically affect us because we wanted to help our customers, which were the practice owners and team members there. So I read a book called The Automatic Customer. It's How to Create Recurring Revenue in Any Business is the subtitle. Highly recommend everyone listening read that book. And basically one day I was thinking like, man, there's got to be a better way in dentistry to solve this insurance issue because it's a large issue and it's very annoying.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
I think that's a nice word for it.
Oh, I've said stronger words and it's got me in trouble in the industry a couple of times, but it's all right. So basically, after talking to some of our customers at the dental lab, I walked into a multi-location that we were contracted with, making crowns and all that fun stuff. And I noticed that they had a sign that said, join our membership plan. And I'm like, that's really interesting. And I just finished that book, The Automatic Customer. And they're like, it's only $30 a month or something like that. I'm like, oh, recurring revenue, right? After reading that book, I'm like, this is really fascinating. And I spoke to the office manager who we were friends with. And I'm like, talk to me about this. Like, oh, this is the greatest thing. It helps us reduce, our PPO contracts. I'm like, oh, cool. This is like music to my ears. It helps generate, predictable revenue and it just allows our relationship with the patient to be just better. Yeah. And I simply asked, how are you managing it? And she pulled out a binder. And this practice had 8 locations, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Pulled out a binder, started flipping through it, and then pointed to the team behind her in cubicles. And she's like, yeah, and these people help manage and call patients and make sure they're collecting credit cards and all that stuff.
Oh, a nightmare.
I'm like, this is really interesting. I'm like, you know what? I can't even remember her name. I probably should when I'm telling the story.
Yeah, you should.
I can't remember.
We're going to call her Jenny.
Jenny. We'll call her Jenny. Yes. And I'm like, yo, Jenny, I think I can build a software platform that helps you manage this membership plan and help you scale it. I'm like, would you let me do that? And she's like, absolutely. Now, I wasn't just a lab technician. I studied UI, UX design and web development. Now, I'm not a web developer. If you held a gun to my head and asked me to code, I would be dead. Okay.
But you like UX. You're definitely a creative guy.
Yes, I like design and all that fun stuff and branding and flower shirts.
Yeah.
For those of you not watching, he's I'm wearing a flower shirt and she's wearing a flower outfit.
Flowery today.
Yeah. So basically the practice let me build a very first version prototype of BoomCloud, which helped them create, organize, and automate a dental membership program to help them scale their predictable recurring revenue, but most importantly, help give their uninsured patients and even a lot of their inactive patients that have lost their insurance a way to accept preventative care plans and get additional treatment done once they've joined the membership plan and all that stuff. So that's kind of the story of how I started BoomCloud, and really we're evolving into what we call a revenue optimization platform with membership plans and a few other things that we're doing. You've heard of the term SaaS being here in Utah.
I know a little bit about SaaS.
Yeah, SaaS.
SaaS company.
Exactly. SaaS stands for software as a service, and I've now started calling BoomCloud RAS, revenue as a service. So that's kind of what we're building now, within our platform. So
I love that. I didn't know that background that you had about design and branding, because it definitely shows in BoomCloud, just the name in general and the branding. If you've not been, just do yourself a favor and go into BoomCloud's website.
Yes.
If you tried to design your own website with somebody, you'll appreciate BoomCloud.
I like bright, fun colors. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's just part of my personality. So
it's really great. It's really awesome. Well, I think most people, do you feel like most people know what a membership plan is?
Yes and no,
Okay,
because
so
I'm
give us
constantly
your definition
yes,
of
I'll
what it
give you
is.
my
Yeah.
definition because I do have one that's actually very specific.
Okay.
I'm constantly surprised because I've been at this since 2015. And I remember those early days, people were like, wow, this is so amazing and new. And people still are reacting that way. And I'm like,
It's not. Yeah.
I guess it's not new to me.
Yeah.
But anyways, most people should know what a membership plan is. But my definition is it's a program that your practice designs. It's an alternative to dental insurance that basically is very similar to Amazon Prime or a Costco membership, where your patients pay an automated monthly or yearly subscription to your practice only, in exchange for benefits and savings to a practice. So that's my typical definition. Now, what I think a lot of people in the industry will be like, I have a membership plan, but then we ask them a few questions and like, well, yeah, I don't automate it, and I wait till the patient comes in to then buy the let's call it a discount plan, or a cash discount plan is probably more accurate.
Yeah.
There's a big difference, because when you have like a cash discount plan where a patient comes in and pays you $300 to get discounts and all that, that's great and all, but there's power in predictable recurring revenue for your practice, and that's where a lot of practices kind of forget that component, which is a very, very amazing component if you do it right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, I think a lot of people have we're moving to a place where a lot of people will have a plan that, they pay $300 once, and then who's to say in a year that they're going to pay that $300?
Yeah, a lot of times there's lapse of renewals, and then sometimes a lot of free work done.
Yeah.
From what I've told with the practices that do that. Yeah.
And as I was kind of preparing for our podcast today, I was thinking, back when we started at least offering something like this in my practice, this was years ago. I just wondered how the patient acceptance, I guess, of plans like this has changed, and how like that, I guess, just how that has changed.
Sure. So number one, I got some interesting stats. At least they're interesting to me. I don't know. I think about membership plans all the time. Is my life boring?
It's a really sexy topic. This entire month we're talking about getting collections, and I'm telling you people, it's real sexy.
Yeah, I think it's sexy. But the number one, there are over half the United States does not have dental insurance. So they need some type of, the mindset is, well, I don't have dental insurance, I can't go see the dentist, which is false, right? We know that patients can come in all the time, but that's how they think. So we know that over half the United States doesn't have dental insurance, which is crazy. I don't have dental insurance. In fact, I have a membership plan.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. So there's a large market there, but how it's changed dentistry, a lot of patients now are understanding that most practices nowadays have a membership plan. So patients are asking for it more versus being educated about it. Now there's still a lot of room for educating. In regards to like case acceptance, we see from our end that your case acceptance, I'm going to say a range, because I think ranges are a little bit more accurate, based off of how you present treatment and things like that. But when a patient joins a membership program, they actually spend 2 to 3.5 times more with that practice on treatment needed, because of the nature of savings and discounts. Think Amazon Prime. For all of you guys listening out there, I bet you 90% of you, at least every time I've done the poll, 90% of people have Amazon Prime. Do you have Amazon Prime?
No, I don't.
So there's 90% of people in here, because I have Amazon. No, it's 50%.
Yeah.
I'm teasing.
I know, but I did. But I got rid of it.
Okay. Oh, so you got rid of it. Okay. Most people, when I talk about Amazon Prime, I ask the question, who has Amazon Prime? And everyone's like, oh, I do. And they're like, my wife has Amazon Prime, right? That's what I usually say. And then the second question I ask is, when you after you join that membership program through Amazon, how often did you get packages on the porch? reflect
Yeah.
your,
Mhm.
if you're on a keyboard, reflected on dollar signs, right? You typed
Yeah.
a bunch of dollar signs, and we get a lot of people typing in dollar signs. So we know that from outside of dentistry, Amazon Prime type subscriptions definitely increase the revenue per customer for Amazon. The same thing happens within the dental practices. The average revenue per patient increases, which in my opinion is one of the most important metrics when you're measuring the quality of a customer.
Right.
Average revenue per patient or per customer, however you define it, is one of the most important metrics and that you can focus on in your practice, because that means your case acceptance, people are saying yes to your case, your when you present treatment.
Yeah, they trust you.
They trust
they're
you.
willing to pay for it.
But it also means that you're spending your time wisely in the chair, meaning you're
It's the definition of working hard or not, or
E- e-
working smarter, not
exactly,
harder.
yeah, you're just optimized better
Yeah.
in the chair, meaning your patients are saying yes more. So when patients join that membership program 2 to 3.5 times, they spend, oh, that was a backward sentence, they spend 2.5 to 3.5 times more than a non-member.
Yeah,
So
wow.
they're very
That's-
profitable
Mhm.
customers.
Mhm.
And smart practices try to optimize their membership, their active membership base, because they understand that average revenue per customer goes up when they join.
Yeah.
Even if they don't
Mhm.
get work done, the
Yeah.
practice is still generating revenue
Yeah.
through the subscriptions.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times we try so hard to create rapport with our patients and loyalty with our patients and trying to get them to come back.
Sure, yeah.
And this is a really great way to do that.
I would say it's a very robust patient loyalty system that you can implement in your practice. Once again, you go to, you talk about the Amazon Prime example. You join Amazon, you're less likely to spend money on other e-commerce sites, right? Same thing with Costco.
Right.
I go to Costco all the time and I spend more money than I usually plan on spending there.
Every
because
time.
I'm sure there's other psychological
I
designing
celebrate
there.
when I leave under $100.
Yeah,
It's happened like twice
it's
in my
pretty
life.
rare, yeah,
Yeah.
to get under $100.
Yeah.
I'd say
Yeah.
I think the average revenue per speaking of metrics, right? The average revenue per Costco member is like $300 to $400 is what I think I've read in the past. So, and they understand that type of model with their membership plan is will increase the revenue per customer, which is so important.
Yeah, really good. Okay, so we talked a little bit about this before, and it's a question that I often ask because I'm thinking about if you are a listener and you want, okay, I thought I had a membership plan, but I don't. Obviously, I'm doing something else, right? What are some, I guess, missed opportunities or mistakes, maybe? I like to go positive with it, but what are some missed opportunities that you've noticed that people, when they're trying to choose a service like BoomCloud?
I'll say it two ways. I'll talk about the choosing a service second. The first thing when setting up and designing a dental membership plan, some of the missed opportunities or the largest mistakes are educating your and marketing to your existing patient base and your external potential patient base. A lot of practices forget to do that, and it really well, if you want to grow your membership program, I've seen membership programs. I think the average membership program is like $5,000 to $10,000 in monthly recurring revenue, which it ranges patient wise, like 130 active membership patients to a couple hundred. Some of the best practices out there focus on internal marketing, meaning they are focusing on educating their uninsured, their inactive patients, their active insured patients, because you never know when they're going to leave, or exit a job or whatever it may be. And if you're not marketing to those people or educating them internally about when you launch your membership program, there's a lot of missed opportunities in terms of the reoccurring revenue production that a membership program could offer your practice. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I see is a lot of people don't market it correctly.
Yeah.
which makes me sad because I like marketing.
Yeah,
That's like the
well, I
funnest
do
part.
too,
That's like the
but-
funnest part of business,
But
right?
yeah, it is it's a total thing. You can't just offer something and assume everyone's gonna know what it is or.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
there
yeah.
marketing is just educating and communicating. That's
Yeah,
all it is.
yeah.
There's no really science. Well, there's psychology to it.
Yes.
But that's the
We're
fun
talking about
part.
marketing, not advertising. There is a difference.
There's a
Yeah.
big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So marketing, just educate and communicate, that you have a membership
Mhm.
program to the patients. The other thing that I see a lot of is sometimes practices will price their membership program too high because like, I want to make all the recurring revenue in the world, right? And then they don't get anybody signed up because based off of demographics, you do need to set up your pricing
Mm,
based upon your demographics where you're marketing to.
mhm.
And we look at that all the time for practices and how to do that. So you got that side where you're overpricing and then you're getting low volume signups.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of it, you are underpricing and you're scaling negative profit basically.
Yeah.
So like if you're charging, like, let's say you're charging $99 a year for your membership program, it's crazy too low.
Yes.
You're
Mhm.
most likely going to lose, a
$200.
couple $100 per
Yeah.
patient. And then if you're scaling that means you're scaling negative cash flow, negative
Right.
profit margins. So that's another thing that I see a lot of
Mhm.
practices do. The only way you could scale a low subscription is if you're going to do a discount plan only, which those do exist.
Yeah.
There's lots of different types of membership plans, but discount plan only is where a patient pays a subscription to get a flat discount over everything.
Yeah.
Whereas a traditional membership plan, there's exams and cleanings included. There's some,
Yeah.
prophies and
Yeah.
and x-rays and things like that. And then they get a discount on
Mhm.
more likely restorative care. So there's some different plan
Mhm.
strategies you can
Yeah.
do. But those are kind of
Yeah.
the few mistakes I see practices make all the time. And regardless, whether you're pricing too high, pricing too low, or not marketing, they they don't produce any type of revenue or
Yeah.
much revenue for the practice.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And if you're not doing that, then what's the
and I'm
point
like a
doing it?
revenue geek. You guys are data geeks, and
Yeah.
I'm a revenue geek.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. All right. The last thing I wanted to talk about was, I guess, reservation. So if you're listening to this, you're like, well, that wouldn't work for me.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So yeah, so some of the number one, not every practice can do a membership program, right? So if you're an oral surgeon, it's going to be a little bit more challenging to do a
Right.
membership program.
Mhm.
You got to have some type of maintenance
Mhm.
in the practice, and that's hygiene. So general,
Unless you have
pediatric.
patients that regrow wisdom teeth and then.
Have you seen that happen?
No. I'm
I don't
just
know. I
kidding.
don't know. There's some weird things that happen all the
There are.
time.
I mean, sure.
I'm like,
but
have you
yeah.
seen that? Weird.
Not on a regular basis that you could create a membership plan. on.
Yeah. So I would say if you general dental practices are a good candidate. Pediatrics and perio maintenance or
Peri offices.
perio offices. In fact, there's a lot of benefit for offering a perio maintenance plan
Yeah.
to your
for sure.
perio patients because they need a lot more care.
Yeah. And it's not one of those things that they think about. I mean, it's, insurance doesn't cover it well. And yeah.
No, insurance doesn't cover lots of pretty much everything well.
Yeah. Well, particularly with perio maintenance.
We never use well in insurance companies ever again.
Don't ever
Teasing
put
you.
those in the same sentence.
So in terms of reservations or questions, practices have when they are thinking about using some type of platform that helps them this, at least when they come to us, they're like, well, is it too expensive? Is it too cheap? Right. The software,
Yeah.
right. And we all know, and I say you guys may agree with this, that you get what you pay for, right?
Right.
Especially with software. A lot of people think we're definitely not the cheapest platform out there. And I don't want to be the cheapest. I want to be the best for your practice.
Yeah.
And I would imagine you guys kind of share that same vision with what
Yeah.
you guys create here at Dental and Tel. So that's probably one, something that some practice owner may think. In all reality, the cool thing about a platform like BoomCloud is once you turn it on, you generate revenue month over month over month over month, and then you can keep growing that every month,
and it pays it,
and
off.
it pays it off.
So
So
easily,
it's a revenue platform. It's not a traditional
Yeah.
software as a service platform.
Yeah.
So that's how I look
You're
at
going RAS.
it. Yep, we're
Yeah.
RAS. We're RAS, baby.
Oh, that's so great. Well, I've had fun. I'm so glad you got to come in. We
Yeah.
asked the same question to all of our guests at the very end of the podcast, and you can answer it however you want. But what does growth in dentistry mean to Jordon Comstock?
Growth in dentistry to Jordon Comstock. I have two answers. So from my customers and just practice owners is financial freedom. And I believe that, BoomCloud in our system allows practices to take a step in that direction. I think that's really important, especially for a lot of the dentists that are friends of mine that, can't seem to generate revenue without having their hands in a patient's mouth.
Yeah.
So financial freedom, and revenue optimization for that within that practice. For me personally, I started my career in dentistry as a lab technician, and now I run an entire software company. Growth for me, I think, in dentistry means improving my people skills and my leadership skills within this industry and within my own company. That's something that I'm always trying to think about, and how I can be a leader to enable growth in the people that are around me, right? My employees and my customers. So that's kind of how I look at it is, leaders breed leaders and replicate. And that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah. I love this. I love this profession because it really does allow lab techs to own
yes,
software companies and hygienists to be marketing specialists.
Marketing specialists in software companies. It's a fantastic industry, and I there was a time where I wanted to leave dentistry, and I am glad that I didn't.
Yeah. Well, I think we've all been there.
Yeah, I think everyone I've ever talked to that has family and everything in dentistry had those thoughts at one point.
All right. Well, it's been a blast.
Yes.
So glad you could come.
Rock on, everybody.
Yep. This has been Growth in Dentistry, a dental intelligence podcast. Again, special thanks to our guest, Jordon Comstock of BoomCloud. Where can they find you if they want to? I'll put it in our show notes.
Yeah, go to boomcloud.com
and check it out.
Yep.
And again, check out their website because I'm being serious. It's really great.
My daughter helped me choose the colors.
Did she? I love it. Okay. You can find BoomCloud's link and then also our link to get.dentalintel.com/podcast for $50 when you complete a demo in our show notes. Thank you to our marketing department for all their work on this podcast. I'm Katie Polson. Keep growing.